And being in Buenos Aires and uncomfortably aware that a heat wave is making the pavement a fit place to fry eggs, we remember that it is the middle of January, so of course it's hot. To some people in some parts of the world, in New York, for instance, or Boston or Chicago, mid-January means snow and leafless trees and heat from stoves and radiators. But in Argentina, this January heat is midsummer heat, from a sun which at noon is nearly overhead. Even penthouses offer no refuge. New York, Boston, and Chicago know well enough how deadly the heat can be in midsummer. Buenos Aires is decidedly hot. Its 3 million people are hot. Its streets are hot. Its houses are hot. Big clocks tell off the slow summer hours with overtones that seem to say, it's time to get out of town, time to get on a train and go someplace where it's cool. South from Buenos Aires, by a fine modern railway, is the path of our escape, down to the coast and then westward across Patagonia. 1,080 miles from Buenos Aires, and you're in the heart of one of the Earth's loveliest regions, in Argentina's national park of Nahuel Huapi, on the eastern Andes. It is for this that we have forsaken the hot pavements of the metropolis, this broad and beautiful carpet of brilliant wildflowers, this expanse of gorgeous blue lake, all their snowy majesty. Now we are in a region of cool mountain winds blowing down from the glaciers, of vast rocky walls forming the backbone of a continent, of matchless blue sky. For we are amid the Argentine Andes, an area just beginning to make itself known to the world at large. So recently was the railroad constructed which brought us here. Despite the ever-present picture of snowy peaks and rugged Patagonian pines, the air here is not chilly, for the park is no further south of the equator than Boston is north of it, and the altitude at lake level is not excessive. It's about 3,000 feet. How many of us North Americans suspect the presence in Patagonia of such a place, with such a fine, bracing climate? This isn't at all Patagonia as we usually imagine it to be. Many a fine, vigorous specimen of Argentine youth comes here from the city, much as our North American young people flock to camps and dude ranches. To the youth of Argentina, a cow is more than a milk machine. It's a symbol of the nation's history, work, and prosperity. Most Argentines, even if they have never known ranch life, have heard of it from their fathers and grandfathers, have inherited, in fact, a tradition going back to the first settlers from Spain, who, finding no gold in Argentina, proceeded to draw wealth from its rich, fertile earth, from its grasslands, from its teeming herds of cattle. Years ago, when this was a wild region, a few families came here and settled. Now all the land hereabouts has been set apart as a national park. But Argentina wisely lets the settlers stay on. No place is the worse for being the home of hard-working farm folk. The homestead here is no great hacienda, but the settler, in his modest way, is carrying on the tradition of the country. And besides, there are the great hotels about the lake, and people in them who need milk and cheese and bacon. But the star attraction at Nahuel Huapi is the giant range of the Andes. The grim, towering walls of the great chain that runs the length of the continent clear up to Panama, then through Central America and Mexico, to become known to us, away up in North America, as the Rockies. steep slopes of the mountains tumble waterfalls fed by snows that melt in the warm winds from the Pacific, barely 100 miles away. Someone once asked a famous mountain climber why he insisted on scaling a certain forbidding peak, and his reply was, "Because it's there." Well, the Andean slopes are obviously here to be scaled and tramped over. They are picnic grounds on an epic scale. They are hiking trails that issue an irresistible challenge. And the waterfalls and highland streams were put here to prove to city folks how palely green and icy cold mountain water can be. Well, how very convenient. Here at the very foot of a glacier, wild strawberries, fresh and red and delicious. Imagine picking strawberries amid ice fields. This makes worthwhile the 3-hour ride over mountain ridges to this realm of the thunderer. Mount Tronador, the Thunderer, gets its resounding name from the roar of the vast avalanches that tumble down its sides. The glaciers scour the earth and cover themselves with rocks, pebbles, and dirt, which completely hide the brilliant blue-white of the snow and produce the so-called black ice of the glacier. But far above, there is virgin snow, renewed nightly as the winds from the Pacific hurl clouds across the summit of the Thunderer. And here are the snows that give rise to the avalanches. An avalanche is a terrifying phenomenon which, once encountered, is forever mightily respected. But the glacier is here. Obviously, glaciers are to be climbed. Of course, this may be the moment for an avalanche, but probably not. They'll take a chance. They'll climb the glacier. And then it comes, with the roar of 100 thunderstorms. Down tumble thousands of tons of snow and ice. This is certainly no place to be. One lump of that snow may weigh as much as a ton. Retreat from the danger zone is along the rocky slope at the edge of the glacier. Rough going it is, too, for the stones slip underfoot, so smooth have they been polished by the age-long action of snow and ice. Well, they came for a thrill, and they've had it. Now comes the problem of descending 1,000-odd feet through rocky ravines and over long, icy slopes. And then a look back at the white world of Tronador, a beautiful region which is the northern tip of the greatest field outside the polar regions. This is Argentina. These are Argentine girls, so the adventure must end with yerba mate. Salud, she's saying. A health to you, good neighbor. Come down and see us. Come and see Nahuel Huapi.